Gays Against Groomers plead their strange case over Twitter ban on Tucker Carlson.
A coalition called Gays Against Groomers has formed and has one mission: stop the sexualization and the abuse of young children. Now, for saying that out loud, big tech companies have tried to silence them. They've been banned by Twitter as well as Linktree and other social networking sites. So after being criticized, Twitter has just reinstated their account. Jamie Michelle is the founder of Gays Against Groomers. She joins us tonight. Jamie, thanks so much for coming in. Thank you for what you're doing. On what grounds are you being banned? What was your crime exactly?
Well, thank you for having me, Tucker. We were banned for hateful conduct, which they consider calling out child predators and abusers and people that want to sexualize them. They, I guess, are a protected class of people now on big tech. So for speaking out against them and trying to protect children, we were taken down. We've been taken down 3 times in 3 months now. We're brand new. Our coalition just started in June, and yeah, they can't seem to cut us a break here.
So people are intentionally sexualizing children, which I thought was a crime. It's certainly a moral crime, but because you don't like it, you're the dangerous one.
Exactly. In any moral society, it would be criminalized, what we see happening, and it should be criminalized. But that doesn't seem to matter. These people are going full steam ahead with their agenda, and they're using our community, the LGBT community, to use. They're using us as shields, essentially, right, to continue to push this unabated. And so I decided that that's enough. We're not going to let this continue anymore because the vast majority of our community stands so strongly against this, and we're just as disgusted by it as everyone else. And I think that our voices are going to be really effective in actually putting an end to it.
I hope you're right. I'm just wondering, what percentage of the American population, of any party or sexual preference or whatever, of all Americans, 340 million, what percentage are for this? It can't be big.
Right. I think it's a very, very small minority, especially with our community and the people outside of it that use us to push the agenda. But I think that they're so loud, and that's all you see coming from our community because they have the backing of big tech, woke media, woke corporations, and even this administration. Right. So they have a big backing, and so if they want to get their point across, everybody that has some power in this country is going to help them do that. And, we're growing incredibly fast. We're only 3 months old, but we have almost 170,000 followers, and they can see how effective our voices from inside the community are going to be to fight this. And, they have censorship, and we have the majority of the population. And so I think in the end we'll win. And regardless of what they try to do to suppress our voices.
That's totally right. It's like Nancy Pelosi, CNN, and Media Matters are the only people who are in favor of this. Jamie, I appreciate your bravery. Thank you. Yeah.
Gays Against Groomers plead their strange case over Twitter ban on Tucker Carlson. After Gays Against Groomers was temporarily banned from Twitter, they went on Tucker Carlson to complain about it. The group argues they are fighting against indoctrination, sexualization, and medicalization of minors by using the gay community and alphabet politics as a shield. Their website states, open quote, "Our community that once preached love and acceptance of others has been hijacked by radical activists who are now pushing extreme concepts onto society, specifically targeting children in the recent years. The overwhelming majority of gay people are against what the community has transformed into, and we do not accept the political movement pushing their agenda in our name. Gays Against Groomers directly opposes the sexualization and indoctrination of children. This includes drag queen story hours, drag shows involving children, the transitioning and medicalization of minors, and gender theory being taught in the classroom," end quote.
Did you notice that the Gays Against Groomers acronym is GAG? And not in a good way, for the record. And just a little fun fact about Jamie. She's the lead designer at Arsenal Media Group, which is a right-wing publication firm whose clients include Ben, not related, Shapiro, Dan Bongino, and Sarah Sanders. Isn't that interesting? That's her thing. She's really this She says our community. No, I don't think you're part of our community.
It would be great to have seen her be interviewed by a not-so-friendly host, by somebody who wasn't just going to throw her softball questions.
No, you throw it right to me. We are reaching out to Jamie Mitchell because we would absolutely love really to talk to her at Queer News Tonight. We do an interview because I think it's valuable to hear the point of view, not Tucker Carlson doing it, because Tucker Carlson is just setting up the spin that he wants to spin. But I think the voice of talking about who in the community represents this, what we think about it, definitions of sexuality and how they're being sexualized, etc., should be explored.
So if you get her on the show, you got to ask her what she thinks about Hooters, just to see if she freezes for a moment and tries to figure out what context you meant that. Because I was making a joke about the restaurant, the restaurant, because it's such an easy correlation. You're upset about drag queens being in front of. Well, what about the Hooters girls and
the sexualization there? Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
the problem that I have with Gays Against Groomers is if they genuinely have this position, they have a right to do this. I defend their ability, their free speech rights, their First Amendment rights to be able to say, this is what we stand for and we express it. However, my experience has been in the last 4 or 5 years that these kind of organizations in the LGBTQ community often are designed to create revenue and notoriety of the person that is pushing the subject. Hashtag Brandon Strzok and hashtag Walkaway. He has propelled a platform that enables the notoriety and celebrity, if you want to call him that, of him, and the ability to rub shoulders to very influential, including financial individuals. I'm not suggesting that Gays for Groomers is that, but it needs scrutiny to evaluate to ensure it's not that. And I am suspicious, and I'm hoping Jamie Mitchell, founder of Gays for Groomers, will accept Queer News Tonight's invitation to sit and talk, because I've talked to many, many Republicans on various issues, and I think generally they would come away and say that was fair. They don't agree, or they might not agree in the process, but it was fair. The issue that I have here is the Republicans have pounded a narrative in the last 2 years that the election was fraudulent. This January 6 hearings that we have gone through have proven over and over and over, overwhelmingly, even by all of the closest Republican voices in the White House, there was no fraud, and they still pounded. Newsmax, this organization, the organization that you just talked about, they've all continued to pound it. There were no dead people voting. There were none, but they continued to say it. And in this instance, as Jamie is telling this to Tucker, of course, Tucker doesn't care about the facts. No problem. He gets the First Amendment right too. But in the examples of the sexualization, I kept thinking to myself, okay, well, if you're going to attack drag queens, let's use their best argument. Bring the receipts. Bring the receipts to show us where sexualization of children is going on. It is not.
No.
Right.
There are no examples. You cannot find examples to do it. They're springboarding out of hormone therapy for 13 or 15-year-olds and saying if there is transitioning surgery, that's mutilization, etc. In those very rare examples, you cannot broadly stereotype all of America in terms of how LGBT and what is going on with children. They're taking a narrative of the election was stolen and thousands of dead people voted, and trying to sell a narrative. That's what this sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I want Jamie Mitchell to come on Queer News Tonight and help me understand why it isn't. Even if we disagree at the end, your voice will be better if your voice is challenged. And Tucker Carlson is not a challenge, frankly.
From a clinical perspective, we actually have to assess, we have to assess the kids and adults for up to a year. Well, actually for a year at minimum, before they can actually go through with any type of actually transitional surgery, right? To actually get the affirming surgery. So I question her facts and also her intention.
Yeah. Facts and intention.
Figure fact.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.